It's BBC Somerset. It's 7:52. Now, an ex-builder from Mells has set up a website to expose cowboy builders, and he's now made a contract which all of us can use to help us keep safe. Mike Edwards, who runs DIY Doctor website, has set up the contract to try and bridge the communication gap between builders and their customers, and he joins us now. Morning, Nick.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. Let's firstly explode the myth. Not all cowboys, not all builders are cowboys. It's only a small number who give the rest of the trade a bad name.
Oh, without doubt. But unfortunately, as with all, I don't know. I mean, with all of these things, it is the minority that tend to rule the media.
And what are the signs that your builder perhaps mightn't be the one for you? Perhaps might be a little bit on the dodgy side.
Well, the first thing to do is to insist really that homeowners must take responsibility for their own home in the first place. And when you call in a builder just because he's a nice guy, etc., it's really not a good idea to give him any kind of job really on that basis. You need to take references. You need to look at work that he's done before as it applies to your house. I mean, if you want a new bathroom, it's no good taking references from a guy who does patios, for example. So the signs of a bad builder initially are that ones that are unwilling to show you the work that they've done, unwilling to give you references, refuse to sign a contract of any kind, and generally don't enter into a business proposition, which is what you're entering into. It's not just a bit of a jolly with the biggest investment you're ever going to make in your life.
And at this point, we are seeing a lot of people, doing their houses up. The whole house market has slumped a little, so selling isn't perhaps an option for some people. So there is more building being done now.
Yeah, there's a lot more improve, don't move stuff going on, and a lot more people as a result of that are jumping on the builders bandwagon, and a lot more people unfortunately being ripped off.
Now you run the DIY Doctor website, as we mentioned, and you've now launched a contract which should hopefully keep us safe. How does it work?
Well, basically it takes all of the existing contracts but and uses the legalities and the necessary parts from those contracts, but it adds something which is absolutely vital, and we called it a desired outcome. And it's a very, very simple concept that if a builder comes to work for you, you should have a look and say, okay, let's go back to the bathroom. I'm having a bathroom done. My desired outcome is that every single thing in that bathroom should work as it's intended to do. When I turn the hot tap on, hot water should come out. It should drain away to its appropriate drain. It shouldn't leak along the way. I don't expect my ceilings to blister. I don't expect my wind to come through my windows, etc., etc., etc. And that can be applied to every room in the house. They have an intended purpose, and the contract simply states that when the builder does the work or the tradesman does some work on any given room, that it operates just as that room should do. That's my desired outcome. And sometimes even more importantly, that all of the surveys that we've done on the website show that owners are very frightened of having tradesmen in their homes because they kind of lose control of what's going on. And the big one is obviously money. A job starts off at a couple of £1,000 and ends up at 15 or whatever through unscrupulous behaviour. So we've insisted that a contractor's quote is deemed to include those jobs which are implied by the drawings but not specifically stated. The worst case we ever heard of was a guy that came to price a job where it showed on the drawing that the floor joists should be at 400mm centres, but it didn't actually stipulate floorboards on the drawing. So he considered that to be an extra. And it is frightening stuff like that. So we've said in our contract that any works implied by the drawings are deemed to be included in the quote.
And of course, the other thing, as well as the spiralling costs, is the time that it takes. And the old joke of he pops in and then says he needs to go and fix somebody's conservatory around the corner, and then you don't see him for a month. There must be truth in that.
Absolutely. We've inserted, because of that, we've inserted a clause which is number 819, which states that throughout the term of the contract there should be an appropriate number of tradesmen on the job.
Do you mind me just saying, if clause 819, that's 8 subsection 19 rather than 819?
No, absolutely. Yeah.
I panicked there. I was thinking it's like a telephone directory size contract coming off.
No, that's okay. It's a 14-page document, and 2 of those pages are suggested schedules that we have for payment for the contractor and any additional work, which is truly additional work. So it's kind of a 12-page contract, and it's not all clauses. There's suggestions on there and there's explanations on there, and it should be read in conjunction with the information that we've published on both our website and on YouTube, which DIY Doctor Avoiding Cowboy Builders. It's a lot of it goes back to the homeowner taking responsibility.
And just through talking to you for the couple of minutes we have, a lot of it is kind of common sense, but in the heat of the moment, you don't think straight, do you?
It's absolutely common sense. I mean, the example I gave one of your researchers yesterday was that if we've sat down and we've had a chat about your quote and everything's going great, and I suddenly look at you and say, "Oh, can I borrow your car for a minute? I've just got to go and get a paper from the paper shop," for example. The first question you would say is, "Are you insured?" And yet, when a builder knocks on the door after your quote and you've got on really good, and the guy says, "Okay, I've come to take your roof off today," 1% of people say to that guy, "Are you insured to do this job?" Mm. And it really is as simple as that, because with the peace of mind that those things give can come a mutually successful contract. Don't forget, we were builders. We've written this from the builder's angle as well, and it's entirely fair to the builder. Good builders will insist that the homeowner signs this contract.
Poacher turned gamekeeper. That's Mike Edwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, it's the DIY Doctor website. Lots of advice on there, as well as that contract. Mike, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
No problem. Thank you.